Welcome guys. So I've been playing with 3-finger claw for the last few days, and this is my updated version of my 3-finger claw guide. Today in this video we will be going through this following topics on how you can learn to play with 3-finger claw. The first process is finding your optimal layout controls, and second process is about basic settings and sensitivity settings, and the third process is to practice with your new 3-finger claw. I will share with you some training drills with Handcam that might help you to learn faster, and lastly some tips and tricks to learn how to play 3-finger claw. If you're playing 3-finger claw for the very first time, or switching from 2 fingers to 3 fingers, then drag your fire button to the top left corner example like this. For now ignore about rest of other controls, because this is basic version of 3-finger claw. And now use your index finger to touch the fire button as shown in the video. So this is the basics of 3-finger claw. If you want to learn advanced 3-finger claw in order to use lean function and faster reflexes, then you need to find your optimal layout controls. So finding your optimal or best layout control is extremely difficult, and it can take a lot of time, but it's totally worth it. I know most of you are probably gonna copy-paste the layout code, which would be a lot easier, but you have to realize that the layout you're copying is not designed for you, nor your device, because every phone has a different screen size, and most importantly every person has a different size fingers, so reaching those buttons might be a problem, so that's why you need to customize even after copy-pasting it. For example, here are a few samples of 3-finger claw layouts, which can be used for creating your own layout by looking at those samples, so creating your own layout gives you a satisfaction and confidence that you created it according to your preferences, and it's specifically designed for you. So how do we create our own layout? Okay, let me show you how I created my layout. The first thing is I placed my fire button on top left corner of the screen like this, which I use it as my claw, but there are some people who places their scope button in that position, use the index finger for scoping in. And there are other people who places the fire button on the top right corner of the screen like this. It's totally normal, because some people are left-handed and some are right-handed, so you have to find what you're comfortable with. And the joystick placement, leave as it is, don't move it around. And now to the scope. I placed it over here because it's very easy for me to reach since I keep my thumb finger waiting around here example like this, so I can scope in very quickly. And the next one is left and right peak. I have their size set at 200 and placed next to the scope because I use peak almost every single time. Placing it next to scope would make it easier for me to reach them. If you don't use peak more often, you could make it smaller, so you would have space for other controls to place. And the next one is about crouch, prone and jump buttons. I actually increased their size, but didn't change their positions by a lot, and I made sure that I reach almost all my controls easily with my thumb finger without any problems. For example, here, I couldn't able to reach to my primary weapon slot, which is kinda far for thumb finger to reach, so I adjusted the weapon slot position in a place where I can easily reach with my thumb finger. I did this process to all my controls to make sure that I can reach easily without misclicking. Anyway, if you want to take a look at more 3-finger claw samples, join my Discord server, because many people posted their layout controls, so you could take a look and create your own layout based on it. Link is in description. Here's how I hold my phone while playing 3-finger claw. So on the left hand, the middle finger goes behind the phone, and this finger gives the phone support to hold from the bottom. While on the right hand, these 2 fingers goes behind the phone, and the little finger gives support to hold the phone from bottom. And the right index finger is placed on this position, which helps the phone to hold steadily. However, other people may hold their phones differently, because everyone prefers to hold their phones in a way they feel comfortable to hold. Moving on to the basic settings, make sure you enable your peek and fire if you want to lean left and right while firing. And if you're playing 3-finger claw for very first time, then I highly recommend you to use peek and open scope enabled. So whenever you press peek button, it's gonna open scope automatically, which is very basic and easy to use. But if you want to disable it, then it will be slightly hard, because now you need to tap the scope and peek buttons in order to lean as shown here. And for the lean mode and scope mode, I set both of them to mixed, because in 3-finger claw you absolutely need to set it to either tap or mixed. And now to the sensitivity settings. You don't actually need to change your sensitivity, because the sensitivity you have is perfect for you since you already been using it before. If you change sensitivity, it's gonna be more challenging to learn, so I wouldn't recommend changing your sensitivity settings. For example, I switched from 3-finger claw to 4-finger, and then 5-finger claw to 6-finger claw, but I still use the same sensitivity for all the claws, because I have the same sensitivity for almost 2 years, so if I change it then I have to relearn my sensitivity again, which will take so much time. But however, if you still want to change sensitivity, then I made a dedicated video on how to find your optimal sensitivity. You can check it out, link is in description. And now to the training process. The first thing you need to learn how to quickly open scope and fire. To do that, first aim towards your target and scope in, and fire, now scope out, and switch targets, and scope in, to fire, now scope out, and keep repeating. This is how it should look. If you do it faster, this requires a lot of practice, by the way. And I know there are some of you non-gyro players watching this. You can still do all the training drills without gyro. Here's me without gyro doing the drills. And the next training drill is quite similar to previous one, but for this, you'll need to do crouch and fire. Crouch and fire is extremely important skill to learn and master. As I said, it's similar to previous one, aim towards your target and crouch. Now scope in and fire, and then uncrouch and scope out, and then switch targets. Keep repeating this process. By the way, you will need to practice all the training drills with each and every scope that is available for you. And next drill is to practice crouch and fire by using a real obstacle. It can be a wall or a rock. You'll need to practice this because this situation is very common in your normal gun fights. And now, in order to practice leaning left and right, also known as peek left and right, you will need to practice it by using previous drills. Or you could practice by using some cover like this and shoot a target by leaning left and right randomly. Anyway, if you want more training drills, I made a separate video for that, and it has more details, so check that out, link is in description. And most of you might be thinking, how long do I need to practice in training grounds? Well, it's totally up to you. I would say 30 to 40 minutes is enough to create your own layout and practicing. Once you completed your training process, head towards team death matches. Here you need to utilize the drills that you have done in training grounds and play as much TDMs as possible. Playing team death matches is the fastest way to learn new controls. Usually it takes me 1 hour to get used to new layout by practicing in TDM. Anyway, that's all I got for this video. I hope you learned something new. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe for more upcoming videos like these. Enjoy my bot gameplay. See you guys in the next one.
Great.